It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. She off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey supposed talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. He go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Maiyegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. This man not the off in mind, oh yo yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh yo yo. Aha, now you wanna done here, oh. Maiyegun la wa mo la mo do. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun la wa mo la mo do. Maiyegun diary, Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Maiyegun diary, lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun diary.
Gbogbo o ndewo, good morning, Sonuda Uku, Sonuda Iki, Sonuda Ku and the rest. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, good morning to you from wherever you are watching from. Call it a midday broadcast or call it early momo broadcast if you are watching from America. However, if you have a chance of joining me, indeed, this is Maiyegun Live.
Maiyegun diary politico. Maiyegun diary Godfatherism. Kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun diary. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o, kẹ́gbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu. Maiyegun diary. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ dódódódó. Maiyegun diary. I
was in London over the weekend. Tell them.
Àní SARAKI.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú SARAKI.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní SARAKI.
Maiyegun ti dé. Àwọn èèyàn wa lọ́yọ̀ọ́. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. nílé lóko lẹ́yìn odi, aku arafẹ́rakù, aku ilédè, Alaafin Oyo of the greatest imperial Oyo Empire.
Presido Barufin o. Ayé sọ́ra jù. Gómìnà gbowó jẹ. Ayé sọ́ra jù.
Ọba Lámídì Adéyẹmí ikú bàbá yèyé ọmọ ikú ọmọ àrùn, who finally joined the ancestors. As the rest of Yorubaland are currently mourning the passage of the king on Maiyegun's diary politico today, I want to take us down the memory lane, a little bit of history, and at the same time, a bit of scrutiny of the public life of a supposed Yoruba imperial king. Majesty they use. I am a Yoruba man. Many of you watching me right now are Yorubas. Then we have the friends of Yorubas who are not just admirers of Yoruba culture, tradition, and many things that they have come to say are unique about us as a people. Therefore, this current message could be for you too, because according to my own line of thought, you are bound to repeat history if you fail to learn from it, which means you will repeat the mistake of history and then you probably will never recover from it. So history, as we read it and as we know it before they doctor them and turn them into what they have now used as a tool of intimidation, a tool of threats, the moment you question them. Meanwhile, everything they hold dear traditionally have been desecrated. They have been ruined, all for the quick gain. They are the facing out generation, which Oba Adeyemi Alaafin is also involved. He's done great things that are great, and many people have actually confirmed in private, in public. I want to question and then scrutinize that of the public. I want to talk about Buhari's best friend in Yorubaland, the mole that gave us up when we needed one of the strongest ancient voices for who we are and who Oyo Empire was before Nigeria happened to us. So as a Yoruba man, I want to talk more about how his public engagement, his public life, and everything he lived for publicly that should not ordinarily should be in the interest of all the Yoruba people. How his actions and in his inactions, his collaborations with those who never meant well for the people of the Western Nigeria, politically and every other way. He stood by and watched for 51 years the former boxer who became a popular polygamous king, which was pretty much the only thing you can actually attribute to him. Something like that, right? However, the shocker came. When he was alive, right? He did not only stand where Nigeria stood, he completely stood opposite where Yoruba people stood. Yeah? But as if that wasn't enough, that culture, tradition that they told us to be very careful of, that culture and tradition that they told us that could indeed shorten our lives if we dare ever violate it. That culture and tradition that Alaafin of Oyo Oba Lamidi Adeyemi violated all his life, even in death, was pretty much violated as well. So Yorubas are talking. Yorubas are now pretty much like, we know those who are Muslims. Even those who are Muslims are asking, I am a Yoruba man again. A very, very strong-willed traditional Yoruba man, Maiyegun General. And in all my life, I have never seen a king body in public ever, until the recent times when I grew up enough to understand how messed up everything they told us, how messed up they are. And if we pay attention very well and we decided to probe them so well, we will realize that the desecration and the weakening of Yorubaland was done internally, right before our eyes, right before our faces. When you make attempt to question them, you are faced with the threats of the consequences of questioning them, because they have a lot to hide. So when he died, the desecration of the Yoruba culture, the process of making a king in Yoruba land is so sacred that people always say, why do you want to be a king? Seriously, when I was growing up, when they call people to come and be kings, they run away in fear. You know why? Because the process alone means you have to dedicate your entire existence, your doings, dealings, talking. You have to dedicate them to the whims and caprices of the deities, choosing of theirs. Something that is so difficult for many of them to do today, as they use those tools to negotiate away every inch of freedom in Yoruba land, as much as they can get any reward for it. So submitting yourself to the full control of what is called the tradition of Yoruba land means you have no religion. Do you know that? If you are a pastor, you will forget your pastoral call. If you are an imam, you will forget everything that has to do with the Quran. You will forget everything. You will dedicate. It's a complete dedication. In Yoruba land, we call them Igbakeji Orisha. Because what makes them the process? That's why when I saw this clown, this dubious clown called Oluwo of Iwo, the emir of Iwo, and then you see the Iwo sons and daughters who are alive and well all over the world today. As much as many of them are watching in dismay, in shock, the man presenting or parading himself as the Oluwo of Iwo, desecrating that tool, historical tool. That's not what I want to tell you, but it's an example of the kind of the Yoruba Obas you have today, because the process that make them Obas, they are called political process. But this is an exemption for this Alaafin. Alaafin became Alaafin in 1970, September 1970, just a few months after the end of the Biafra war, the genocide of the Biafrans. That was the moment he became king. A fresh start. But was a product of a system that he defended to his death. So right now, you see Kabiesi, you will see them in churches. They say, is he not human? He needs to move to God. Are you teaching? Are you going to now tell us something that was never ours? When you choose to be a king, like I said, you have your God, of course. But the only intermediary between you and that your God of your choosing is our Orishas. Now before our eyes, they started telling you or telling us, there is this strange God somewhere that is more powerful, because it's now about competition. After somebody became king, through the process of our culture and tradition, preserving that, because if you are made a king through the process of Yoruba kingship process, you will fear no one. You will understand that you exist for your people only. And you will defend them at every given opportunity, even if it is to the stake of your own life. Right? You have nothing to fear. Then you figured out that you have what they call the Yoruba Oba, political Obas. And the only thing they are only known for is to threaten you, the Yoruba sons and daughters, that ever they will threaten you with that same tradition. They will tell you, you better don't let Kabiesi swear for you. You better don't say anything that will use Oriade to curse you. Because that is the only thing they have left. The fear, while they continue to desecrate this tool that is more powerful, should be more powerful than any political post, including president in Nigeria. But we know the drill. So this Alaafin died. And as if I have not seen it, I haven't seen enough. And so I say, Allah Akbar, the body of Alaafin of Oyo, Ikuba Bayeye, somebody that, you see, when we were growing up, they said, to be a king, if I am a king now, my family, they will never see my body. The only thing, when I die, they will never see my body. Because you know why? The moment I die, they have to remove, this is not a myth, although they said, they have tried to change that. That's why we now have all these political obas today. So if you want to be a king in Yorubaland, the moment you die, or put it this way, if you want to become a king in Yorubaland, when they do all other procedures and everything, the whole thing to get you ready, they will now feed you with the arts of the just past king. You are preparing to ascend the throne, right? Somebody who just died as a king, when they finish the whole part, the whole body, they have everywhere that they go to. This is not a myth. Now, that art is what they will feed to you. And once you feed on that, it means you've ate the art of a king, so to say, and therefore you have now become one. So when you die, nobody see your burial, nobody see your dead bodies. They don't do. That is why in Yorubaland, once you become a king, every year when you celebrate your birthday, it is like celebrating your own burial. So your own subjects, they will come together. They will put together a big, massive party for you every year, because that could be your last. Because when you die, there is nothing called burial. We are doing burial, church service. We are There's nothing like that in Yorubaland. You are to be buried according to our tradition, which makes many people to say, I am a Christian. I'm a prince, but I'm a Christian. Whenever they call on those to be kings, most people run away. You know why? They believe that their faith will never make them subject themselves to such. And because of that, you can just separate yourself. You don't make yourself available for it. Meanwhile, if they finally grab you and they put you through that process, you will finally come to terms that you are now existing for your people, not for yourself, not for what the world will see, or not what you want. You know what? No. You are now existing for them. If they are killed, you will be mourning. If they are hungry, you will be showing it. If they are homeless, you will be sad. You have to show the fact that you exist for them. On their behalf, you will be appealing to the gods for them. When they need protection, you will pull them together to defend themselves. That will be your role. You won't be responsible or responsive to anybody else but them. That's our culture in Yorubaland. We have Muslims, we have Christians. They knew this and they still know it. So who wants to be a king? People run away from it. Whoever becomes one is a subject. I mean, is what? He is the servant of his own people. But they don't do that anymore. Of course, they don't do that anymore. Many of you have attended burials of Obas, haven't you? Haven't they brought Obas in coffins into churches? Have you not seen where they have done a burial of Obas like they did of that of Alaafin? Alaafin's burial is the last for many of you to know that the reason why Yorubas are currently wallowing in this whole confusion that Nigeria has put us today is because those who were supposed to hold our culture and tradition genuinely, those who are supposed to think Yoruba first, they were not properly groomed. They were not rightly chosen. Therefore, they hold us no responsibility other than what they want the world to see of them. And what they want the world to see of them is just for them and their families. But guess what? The millions of their subjects are helpless. They themselves, they are helpless to help. So what? They just milk it. Make a lot of money from it. So today you have attended burials of Obas, you have attended all of that everywhere now. They say, what is this one? That's the invitation for the burial of Oba Ateju Osho. Sonny Ade is coming there to play. Oshukwa is going to play here. Where are we? It's the burial of Olubadan. Okay, is he a Muslim? He's a Muslim. Okay, they will pray, right before our eyes. But guess what? I'll tell you how that affects us now. Because that is the point. In the ancient history of the old Oyo Empire, a lot, and they are very important as well. A lot happened that shaped and then sort of reconfigured what became the Yorubaland of today. Okay? There's this significant role played by the past Alaafins from the 12th century to 18th century. There are so many expeditions. There were so many wars. And then when I say expedition, both north and south, that this Alaafin they reshaped the society of Yorubaland that we have come to know today. That is why it is so significant to tell you and remind you something. How this Alaafin could have been the original, original puller to bring Yorubas to their senses. For how long we have gone astray in the project Nigeria, and that except something is done to end the drift, there is no real hope, ladies and gentlemen. The connection, it all started from the 12th century, so to say, when the old Oyo Empire was invaded by the Fulani Nupes. So they attacked and destroyed the old Oyo Empire, ladies and gentlemen, to the point that Yorubas from that empire, that kingdom, they ended up as refugees in Bogu, in Borno, Kanemi, and other places. I don't know if many of you remember that anyway, or you've ever read about that. To the point that the old kingdom, the capital, the Oyo, was completely ruined, that they had to resettle in what was called then Oyo Igbowo. But over the years, they recovered, They pushed back, they regained the lost territory, and they became bigger to the point that they grew what was the first of its kind in the military expedition in any part of Africa. They called it Calvary. You see that Calvary? Now people where they fight on top us. Now these Fulanis, they do our most. So when Oyo came back to reclaim their land after coming from the land of refugees, before Oyo came back, Ijebus, Egbas, and all those other part of what is today's Yorubaland, we were doing finance, we were facing our battle too. But when Oyo came back, Oyo now re-engineered their military. They professionalized their military. It became one of the biggest of its time, talking about the 13th, 14th century. So when they now came back, they pushed the Fulanis back. The Nupes and all of them, they pushed them back. They rebuilt their capital and they started advancing to the south, which means because Oyo happened to be the part of Yorubaland that shares borders with the northern part of what is today's Nigeria. And at the same time, share border with what is today's core Western Nigeria that touches the ocean. So Oyo is in between. So the historical the historical attacks on them made them become better, stronger, that they were no longer under threat. They became threats to other parts of Yorubaland. And that was what they called the expedition. They had war everywhere in Yorubaland to control everywhere. And they indeed managed to advance so deeper into the heartland of Yorubaland. And that was because of their military. So in that regard, the Alaafin Oyo of them was able to appoint the general for his army. He is so powerful that the kingdom was so powerful. That Yoruba kingdom then was so powerful. That the chief, the leader of the military cannot live in the same town with the king. So they had to create a new city. And that new city is what is today called Ibadan. Are Ona Kakanfo is like the general, what do you call it? What do they give them in your military? The highest ranking officer in the military, the commander. Just like chief of army staff, something like that. Or chief of defense staff. Or minister of defense. So from him, the Alaafin will command him to wage war. So Yorubaland became protected by them. Which means the larger part of Yorubaland, border to border, was being protected by the Oyo military. And that reshaped our Yorubaland to what many of you are now seeing today. The new cities, the new places, and other things that happen, our economy, our commerce, our arts, our defense, everything. That reshaped it. Before the advent of colonialism. Again, that is actually not where I actually want to take you to yet. So historically, it means Oyo's influence and whoever is in charge as the Alaafin, a fearless one that should always feel triggered whenever Yorubaland comes under attack, economy or terrorism. Normally, naturally, historically, he should be triggered. So, the Fulani terrorists that are being protected by Buhari, they have been in Oyo for donkey years. No, let me rephrase. After few centuries, Adeyemi Alaafin, Obalamidi Adeyemi Alaafin, became Alaafin of Oyo 51 to 52 years ago. 52 years ago, I would say. And in the space of 50 years, the gains of his own forefathers who fought invaders that destroyed them and sent them to refugee camps, which could be classed as second-class slaves in another land, until they recoup and they came back and they gave their land and they regained their land and they remained in those lands until 1970, when Adeyemi Alaafin became Alaafin. So in that space of 50 years, we now have Fulani illegal settlers in the forests of Oyo and most of the part of Igboho, Okeogun, the places that when the Fulani Nope attacked Oyo Empire, displaced them, burnt it down, the place they relocated to are now places that illegal aliens have occupied. And not until they started kidnapping and killings, invasion of farms, destruction of farms and lives and villages, we never knew they were so deep inside Oyo forest, because Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Lamidi Adeyemi, invited most of them years ago. Somebody who prided himself that he was a farmer and he has thousands of cows. And Alaafin no get ranch. Do you know that? Alaafin Oyo has no ranch anywhere. But when you go to this Okeogun, Igboho, Ibarapa, Ayete, Egongon, and all these areas that have come under incessant attacks from these terrorists, as we see. 50 years, 50 years after, we figured out that more than 70% of them were invited and they were allowed to settle on those unoccupied lands in the forest. And if you remember Saliu from Igangan, the one that had an encounter with Oloye Sunday Igboho, Saliu, that was told to leave Igangan because he became the ringleader of those kidnappers in that axis of Yorubaland. People who have paid their ransoms. Some of you don't remember that. People paid, Yoruba people who were kidnapped. They paid their ransom through the farm of Saliu, where he settled. He said he's been there for more than 30 years ago. He said he's been living in that forest. They said, where is the certificate of occupancy that you actually own this land? Iskilu. Iskilu is another one. Oh, see you. Some are saying Iskilu. Iskilu is another one. There's another Saliu in Egongon. It was after Saliu in Egongon that OPC, it was Oloye Sunday Igboho that went for Saliu in Egongon. Whose his own sons, they put gun on Igboho, put gun on the people who came to question them about what they heard. Yeah, you remember? Then Iskilu is from another area. What's that place again? It's a little bit far from Egongon. Iskilu Wakili. That one was arrested by OPC members. He was arrested with his sons. You remember now? So don't mix them up. Don't mix them. But there's something I want to say about this Saliu and what he said. His own statement. He said he's been there for more than 30 years. They said, did you buy this land? Because, I mean, he said, no, we came here and we said, how did they come? They came as Deron for Alaafin of Oyo. That was why Alaafin, when Oloye Sunday Igboho said, the Fulani terrorists, Saliu, all of them, they must leave Igangan because they have become this and that. Alaafin said, no Fulani will leave Igangan. Igboho is just talking to himself. Igboho came out and he said, Alaafin Of Oyo is with us. All the Yoruba Obas are with us. He knows. He knew then that they were not with him. He knew. Igboho thought if he said that if he said that in public, maybe they will have a change of heart and do the right thing behind the scene that will ensure and guarantee the Yorubas keeping together to save and protect themselves. Alaafin Oyo said Igboho was just talking to himself. No Fulani will leave no Fulani will leave the forest. That he already spoke with Buhari, and Buhari assured him that all the criminals who mixed up with the Fulanis working for Alaafin in Oyo town and Oyo environment, those one who mix with them, the Fulani, the Buhari's government, they will fish them out. The same, don't worry, don't do anything. We are working on it. These boys just want to create problem without telling you that the cows you see in Yorubaland, I know many of you know this, so it's not a shock cow. Do you know that 90% of the cows that you see in southern Nigeria, including in Igbo land, in Biafra, in Niger Delta and everywhere, 90% of those cows, they are owned by your traditional rulers, by your politicians, by your governors, by the people you call big men, elites. And many of you know how they started, though. They used to say, we are going to the north to go and import cows to the south. It was their money, too much money later, that made them feel like they are smarter. So they could just bring all those cows down. And, I employ one Fulani boy, two Fulani boys, employ them to be protecting the cows for them. But what they didn't, that's why they are not feeling responsible for now, okay? So that what they didn't consider was that those cows, they will need to feed. And they will need and then they will need a space, their own space, or else you will be seeing them everywhere. So every time they tell you Fulani this, Fulani that, I keep cautioning you that if you pay attention very well, your politicians, your traditional rulers, your churches, your imams, your babalawos, everybody, all the elite, big men you see everywhere, many of them, they brought those cows down south. I'm not saying they brought the gunmen, no. Don't mix them together. But you remember that it was the menace of Fulani and their cows that started all of this. And it was like it is a common sense that rearing or breeding cows is a private business. So if you decide to go into it, you must prepare to provide them their own ranches. You don't put that on people as a burden. That was the beginning until the people attacking people's farms started pulling gun on them. And they started killing people in execution style. Then like joke. So when people fight back and they say they poison their farm with chemicals. So whenever their cows eat those farm and all that, and they die, then these guys pull other people together, guns, and they go straight into villages and they start killing people in their sleep, burning properties. Then the media will come out and say farmers others clashes. 60 cows died because they killed 60 cows. 38 people have been killed in this community. So that became a normal. But I am taking you to the genesis. The reason why we became vulnerable is because those who brought them in are majorly our own people. No be Buhari buy cows for these people. No be Buhari give them guns. Oh. You okay? No be Buhari directed them to come in and bring cows. Oh. No. It's just, the situation is just like the place where we want plant agbado, a corn. We clear a place, we want plant agbado. Suddenly, agbado just started coming out. So no be say your job don't have done. These thoughtless, gutless, and then heartless cowards, they are so greedy that they care more about the influence they can wield. The influence of, instead of me going to Niger Republic every year to buy cow for my party, for my this and that, why don't I just buy enough and bring them into Yorubaland? And then there is grass everywhere, farm everywhere, when those who wanted to match their cows from the Sahel, with their spears, arrows, and guns dripping of blood, are already dreaming of coming down. You can't make them easy. Then you can't live in denial. Can't pretend that you are not involved. And there are those promoting the idea when you mentioned that the Fulani terrorists who are killing and destroying people's livelihood, they cannot continue to stay there because they are committing crime and nobody's holding them responsible for it. People who want to fight back are not being allowed to fight back. Then they turn it into tribal hate. It's because you hate Fulani. It's because you hate the Hausa. Meanwhile, when you go to Ibadan, you will see Fulani there. You will see Hausas there. You see everybody from all walks of life. When you go to Lagos, when you go to Yorubaland, you see people doing their thing. Because the ones in the forests with their guns and cows, their facilitators are Southerners. The people who gave them guns are those who have been looking for a time that they can come in easily and do this. And that is where Alaafin of Oyo is also instrumental. So don't worry yourself. Before you get riled up, many of us have figured out that the only thing left for those who claim to be protecting the culture and tradition of Yorubaland and Yoruba people is actually the fear of what will happen to you if you ask questions. But guess what? Nothing will happen to you. These are a bunch of opportunists who have lived, made so much money based on our own emotional gullibility, mainly caused by miseducation. The miseducation that is, wrapped with fear. Nothing will happen to you. So I decided to use the story of Oyo, old Oyo Empire, how they lost everything, how they came back, how they redesigned what is today's Yoruba's, the Yoruba's society that all of you have currently developed different tastes for. Then Yorubaland came under attack. A serious one that have seen our people killed, their properties destroyed. And we saw Alaafin Oyo, Buhari's best friend, supporting one Nigeria. Igboho rose. They did all they could to cut him down to the point that they wanted him dead. And I told people, I said, Igboho could have been protected if historically, so let's put it this way, if people have been very much accustomed to the history, that Yorubas will never sit back and get killed. It is not in us. There is always going to be, we've always had that, right? There's always going to be the bold, strong, and fearless Yoruba sons and daughters from all walks of life that will be ready to defend whatever is left of Yorubaland. And they will take every bit of it that is taken from us. There is always that. But what we've never had until now is the internal demoralizers, the people who brought the carnage, who are benefiting from it, and within destroying every effort to push back, which Alaafin of Oyo, Obalamide Adeyemi, is involved. How? Oloye Sunday Igboho before him. It was Are Ona Kakanfo, Iba Gani Adams, who first raised the alarm of what he termed the invasion of Yorubaland through our forests. And it was very, very specific based on their own findings way back in 2018. I love the message. I want to talk about the message, not the messenger, okay? Please. Because these are facts that are yet to be refuted. They are yet to be debunked. Are Ona Kakanfo by the by the Yoruba cultural settings Are Ona Kakanfo is our Minister of Defense. It therefore is said 1,748 Fulani armed terrorist camps have been detected in Yorubaland. I didn't say that. He said it, and he is still alive. He said they are holding cells for what is still to befall the Yorubaland way back in 2018. It was very specific. Mind you, he didn't just say it. They started acting on it. And I'll tell you what they did. OPC under him, after locating these camps, they sought the support of the Yoruba governors. They didn't get any. Then they improvised and they started providing cluster-like security, which means once you know that there are OPC in this area, they can easily respond to any distress calls. I am aware of this because I have evidence of those actions back then. This is so unusual. Are Ona Kakanfo discovered illegal terrorist cells in the Yoruba forests, and he was very confident about it. Alaafin Of Oyo, who was supposed to be his own commander-in-chief, probably have similar information. Kabiesi, here we have an evidence. I am your Minister of Defense. Here is evidence, sir. We have this, and that. What can we do with your position? What should we do, sir? Our people are ready. Well, you know what I mean? I bet I'm just trying to practicalize what should have happened. If you have to go back to what I'm about to read to you now. Alaafin is meant to tell Are Ona Kakanfo to defend Yorubaland, and he will provide him all the logistics to do that. Clear the pathway, meet with the Oyomesis to get their approval so that they can provide resources for the protection of Yorubaland wherever there is any threats. That's how it should be. But in this case, Alaafin should have what? Meet with Oyomesis, meet with Oyo Governor Abi, and they say, let's provide security. Something is really, really not right. But I mean, rally the Yorubas together and say, this information is true, and we should not all sit back. But if he did that, he's going to be agreeing with Sunday Igboho that those terrorists should leave our forest so that our people can travel peacefully. Our people can go to the markets peacefully. And I want you to know something, right? Yorubaland, or the relevance in Yorubaland, is not limited to Akure in Ondo. It's not limited to Lagos in in Eko. It's not limited to Abeokuta or Ijebu-Ode in Yorubaland. It's not limited to Ibadan or Abiosogbo or Ogbomoso. There are thousands of communities and villages, thousands, tens of thousands of them, cluster-like as they are, who are the Yorubas. Whatever your worldview is, from your Lagos, from your Akure, from your Ibadan, from your Osogbo, from your Abeokuta or Ijebu-Ode, wherever you are, from your Ado Ekiti, there is more to that makes Yorubaland. You know that? These are the people who are the potential victims of these illegal cells, and they have been there for years now. So if they agree that something should be done, that means they will be agreeing with Sunday Igboho that those illegal aliens should leave our forests and give peace to these communities. Give peace to these communities. Let them live in peace. So that didn't happen. Rather, Alaafin Oyo defended Nigeria, expectedly anyway, and he condemned Igboho. He condemned all the Yorubas, asking that Yorubas should stand up and defend themselves. He even condemned those asking for the Yoruba nation. I mean, it is ridiculous. I am not saying that we should attack him alive or in death. I don't attack people that disagrees. But I'm talking about what could have been that never was, or never is, or still never is. The missed opportunity that was lost on self-aggrandizement, grandiloquence, the grandiloquence and aggrandizement. Oh, you're asking me what's the meaning? Do I know? I don't know the meaning. The word just came to my head. Grandiloquence. But I know aggrandizement. Self-aggrandizement. Now, person where they try to massage his own ego. It doesn't matter if his action or inaction is going to affect the multitude. He just wants to massage his own ego. Ego, they say. And he is in that category. He demoralized those who could have, who could have stand up and defend Yorubaland genuinely. And this is a fact. Please, it is a fact. However, that is very much on Oyo like. Oyo yìí ṣe báyìí, ẹ̀yin ará Ọ̀yọ́. Ẹ̀yin ará Ọ̀yọ́. Ọ̀yọ́ yìí ṣe báyìí. Ọ̀yọ́ jagunjagun tìrantìran. Jagunjagun ọmọ làwọn ará Ọ̀yọ́ tèmi kà nínú ìtàn. So let me give you a tip of what make Oyo fake. Just a glimpse. The early period. Sorry, don't think I'm that intelligent. I'm reading it somewhere now, okay? Some of you probably have read it elsewhere too. Well, I've got some points I actually want to pick from them. You should pay attention word for word. Trust me. This is so important. Between 12th century and 14th century, Oronyo, the first Oba of Oyo, was succeeded by Oba Ajaka, Alaafin of Oyo. Ajaka was deposed because he lacked Yoruba military virtue and allowed his sub-chiefs too much independence. Leadership was then conferred upon Ajaka's brother, Shango, who was later deified as the deity of thunder and lightning. Ajaka was restored after Shango's death. Ajaka returned to the throne thoroughly more warlike and oppressive. His successor, Kori, managed to conquer the rest of what later historians will refer to as Metropolitan Oyo. Ibadan, the heart of Metropolitan Oyo, was his capital at Oyo Ile, also known as Oyo Katunga, or Old Oyo, or Oyo Oro. The two most important structures in Oyo Ile were the Afin, the palace of the Oba, and his markets. The palace was at the center of the city, close to the Oba's market. Pay attention to the two most important structures in Oyo Ile were the Afin, the palace, and the market, the seat of power, and the seat of commerce. Pay attention to those two, right? As I read on. Now, the importance of the two large structures, hang on, around the capital, or put it this way, the palace was at the center of the city, close to the Oba's market, called Oja Oba. So which means the Oyo rulers back then knew the importance of commerce and administration, that they actually stationed them next to each other so that one will not miscommunicate in order to run the society. Wait for it. Around the capital was an enormous earthen wall for defense with 17 gates. The importance of the two large structures, the palace and the Oja Oba, signified the importance of king in Oyo. Now, there is also something called the Nupe, then the Nupe invasion. Oyo had grown into a formidable inland power by the end of 14th century. For over a century, the Yoruba state had expanded at the expense of its neighbors. During the reign of Onigbogi, Oyo suffered military defeats at the hands of the Nupe, led by Soede. Sometime around the 1535, Dinupe occupied Oyo and forced his ruling dynasty to take refuge in the kingdom of Bogu. Dinupe sacked the capital, destroying Oyo as a regional power until the early 17th century. Now, let's come to early 17th century now. The imperial period. The Yoruba of Oyo went through an interregnum of 80 years as an exiled dynasty after its defeat by Dinupe. They re-established Oyo as more centralized and expansive than ever. The people created a government that established its power over a vast empire. During the 17th century, Oyo began a long stretch of growth, becoming a major empire. Oyo never encompassed all Yoruba-speaking people, of course. Ijebu people was never under Oyo Empire, by the way, and I'm from Ijebu. Some say maybe that is why I am much kind of, they say courageous and then fearless. I am fearless. When it comes to when somebody say, I will deal with you, I say, what do you want to do other than to kill? When you kill me, after that, what do you want to do again? Nothing. And before you even do that, Baba, you go try. And at the same time, just make sure, say, you will want to do something to somebody, prepare, say, you have no idea what that person say. If you do, no just come with this beer share, say, I go beat you. Baba, before you know it, if he don't land you, before you know it, if he don't land, though, it's a vice versa thing, by the way, right? So, let's continue. Oyo, during the 17th century, Oyo began a long stretch, like I said, and Oyo never encompassed all Yoruba-speaking people. But it was the most populous kingdom in Yoruba history. So, now, to reconquest after their defeat, the key to Yoruba rebuilding of Oyo was a stronger military and a more centralized government. Taking a cue from their Nupe enemies, whom they called Takpa. Takpa Lengpe. So, Ogun Takpa. You remember it don't make sense to you now. Don't worry. I just want you to pick keyword. I will still use them later. Okay? Beautiful. Now, let's continue. So, they were taking a cue from the people who exiled them for 80 years. 80 solid years. The Takpa controlled Oyo Empire. I don't know, maybe many of you still remember that anyway, but let's go on. So the Yoruba re-armed with armor and cavalry. Oba of Iran, Alaafin of Oyo, succeeded in regaining Oyo's regional territory from the Nupe, the Takpa. A new capital, Oyo Igboho, was constructed. And the original became known as Old Oyo. The next Oba Maiyegun Oyo, conquered nearly all of Yorubaland. That's their own expedition when they become too powerful. After conquering those who exiled them for 80 years, they were like, you see, this one no fit fight us again, they no burn them. You see all this rest of these Yoruba people, they need to know, say we are the powerful. They started expedition. You know, I'm coming there. So, Oba, now after this, Oba Orompoto Loye led attacks to obliterate the Takpa to ensure Oyo was never threatened by them again. During the reign of Oba Ajiboyede, he held the first Bere Festival, an event to celebrate peace in the kingdom. Celebrated regularly, it will retain much significance among the Yoruba long after the fall of Oyo, because Oyo eventually fell anyway. Under his successor, Abikpa, the Yoruba repopulated Oyo Ile and rebuilt the original capital. Despite a failed attempt to conquer the Benin Empire sometime between 1578 and 1608, Oyo continued to expand. The Yoruba allowed autonomy to the southeast of metropolitan Oyo, where the non-Yoruba areas could act as a buffer between Oyo and Imperial Benin. But by the end of 16th century, the Ewe and Aja states of modern Benin were paying tributes to Oyo. Now, there is also Dahomey War, to let you know how the Oyo warriors were so ambitious. They went to Dahomey. You know, Dahomey is what is today's Benin Republic. Oh. That is why you have Yorubas in Benin Republic. Oh. Wait for it. The reinvigorated Oyo Empire began raiding southward as early as 1682. By the end of its military expansion, Oyo's border would reach to the coast some 100 kilometers, 62 miles southwest of its capital. It met little serious opposition until the early 18th century. In 1728, the Oyo Empire invaded the kingdom of Dahomey in a major campaign of its cavalry, people on horses, fighting with sword, arrow, bows, and all that. Yeah? So, Dahomey warriors, on the other hand, had no cavalry, but many firearms. Their gunshots scared the Oyo cavalry horses, and they prevented their charging. Dahomey's army also built fortifications, such as trenches, which forced the Oyo army to fight as infantry. They have to come down from their horses and fight on the ground with them. So, going forward, the battle lasted 4 days, but the Yoruba were eventually victorious after reinforcements arrived. Dahomey was forced to pay tribute to Oyo. The Yoruba invaded Dahomey 11 times before finally subjugating the small kingdom in 1748. We were warriors, ladies and gentlemen. The people who are now preaching fear to you. The people who are now telling you that you can't ask questions about what Nigeria has done to us. The people who are telling you that you should not speak out because you are going to cause trouble. The people who tell you to keep shut while all this invasion are happening. They are telling you to deny who you are. That's not who you are. That is not who we are. We did not ask for war. We are invaded. And now we are being told we can't defend ourselves. Guys, that is not who we are. That's not who we are. That's not who we are. We are as peaceful as anything. But when we get attacked, we expect those who lead us to ask us to defend ourselves, not ask us to pray that our murderers should have change of heart. And that is what Nigeria did to us. Alaafin Of Oyo Oba Lamidi Adeyemi is involved. Going forward, they said organization, talking about Metropolitan Oyo. At the beginning, the people were concentrated in the Metropolitan Oyo. With imperial expansion, Oyo reorganized to better manage its vast holdings within and outside of Yorubaland. It was divided into 4 layers, defined by relation to the core of the empire. These layers were Metropolitan Oyo, Southern Yorubaland, the Egbado Corridor, the Ajaland. So, where is Metropolitan Oyo? The Metropolitan Oyo corresponded more or less to the Oyo State prior to the Nupe or Takpa invasion. This was the hub of the empire, where the Yoruba spoke Oyo dialect. Metropolitan Oyo was divided into 6 provinces, with 3 on the west side of the Ogun River, and 3 to the rivers in the east. Each province was supervised by a governor appointed directly by the Alaafin Of Oyo. God. No wonder the first white people that came and entered Yorubaland, they said they've never seen such an organized society. Administrative, commerce, the society, it was so organized that they were so marveled that they dreamed of destroying it. Except we destroy this culture, These people, these ideas that they can't read and write like they say, these ideas of theirs in practice is completely out of this world. That's who we are, that's who we were, and that's who we still are. Provinces, as far back as 1740, 17 this, 17 that. Today, they are now telling you that you can't even think Yoruba. You can't have your own country. You can't even, I mean, come on. How long it lasted before we come to this reality? Education will unlock your mind. Trust me, education will unlock your mind. Like, there's no force, there's no violence, there's no nothing. Education will unlock your mind. Education will deconstruct your mind. You will know what is right and you will do what is right. It is just a matter of time. We were great. Oh, we were great. We were great. Until those who were holding that great kingdom became the subject of their own greed. Yes. Now let's continue. Yorubaland, the second layer of the empire, was composed of the towns closest to Oyo Ile, which were reorganized as brothers. This area was south of metropolitan Oyo, and its Yoruba inhabitants spoke different dialects from that of Oyo Ile. Do you see that respect? Do you see that organization? I'm coming. That's to tell you that in Yorubaland, we speak different languages. We even have, different kind of cultures. But most of our cultures are so relative that we call ourselves brothers because we respect who we are in that bigger circle, the bigger nation called Yoruba nation. Oh, Nigeria did us bad, damaged us for who we are, gave us a different identity, the identity that is so confusing that we are now lost. So organized, no discrimination, no disrespect, respect for who you are in your own land. That was what we are. That's what we are before Nigeria. These tributary states were led by their own rulers, titled Obas, who were confirmed by the Alaafin of Oyo. Did you hear that? Towns where people speak, they speak different languages to those who are the central Oyo, a central Oyo who built an army that became so massive to give Yoruba land protection anytime, to the point that they even expanded outside Yoruba land to Dahomey. You see, they were still holding their own culture and tradition. But to pay allegiance to the empire that protects you, in the olden days, you will send your own nominated Oba to Oyo. Oyo never gave them Oba. It will be you nominating and they will say, go and meet Alaafin. That's structurally. But historically, Alaafin is not meant to be the leader of Yorubaland. No, 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 no. It was the son of Alaafin who came from it. It was the son of Oduduwa who came from Ile-Ife that founded what is today's Oyo. And historically, Oyo should be paying obedience or allegiance to his own fatherland, the source. That's why they call Ile-Ife the source. How did Oyo become this? Militarily. How did America become world power? Militarily. Maybe economic, commerce, so to say. But military, defense. Why is, why do you call these countries world power? Military. Oyo used military to now give Yoruba land protection. In return, you pay allegiance to whoever is the king. Do you get that structural stuff, right? Nothing is taken away from you. You are still Ijebu. You are still this. You are still that, right? You speak your language. You are not forced to change it. You still appoint your own Oba. Your process is the same. But to have the protection of the land, you go to Alaafin. This was how powerful Alaafin was in our history. This is not a make-up story. This history that happened. All these towns, all these villages, they are still there. Families from those who we are talking about, 17 this, 16 that, they are still there. Alaafin should never be somebody that koto cap in hand to somebody and say, they say jump, he jump. They say, Alaafin of Yorubaland or any Yoruba Oba, should never at any point feel like they need protection from anywhere. They needed protection right there is there in Yorubaland. So you don't say you are Alaafin, you are Oni of Ife, you are Wujale of Ijebuland, and they say, yeah, jump. They say, how high do you want me to jump? That was what Alaafin did to us. He did us bad as well. And we have no apology educating you about this. Yorubaland was great. Yorubaland had great people, great leaders, whose only existence was for Yoruba people. No other. And in return, Yoruba served them. Do you get that? We're organized. Let's go to the other layer, the Egba corridor. The empire's third layer was the Egbado corridor, southwest of Yorubaland. This area was inhabited by the Egba and Egbado, and guaranteed Oyo's trade with the coast. Listen to this, the Egba, the Egbados, at the west of Yorubaland, they have access to the sea and the coast. The empire needed a collaborator, so they made them to continue to hold what they were holding. So the empire's trade will go through the coast, and the Egba and the Egbados, they will ensure the smooth operation of the kingdom's business. That's who Yorubas are. Today that they are saying Egbas cannot sit down with Oyo, Yorubaland cannot work because Ijebus cannot listen to Ondo. All this nonsense may put in your head by these greedy politicians. Education will take them off your head because that is not Yoruba. No. That's not Yoruba. Yorubas work together for 23 years. The likes of Tifnumbu and gang, all the governors in Yorubaland, they couldn't work together to give Yoruba and the Yoruba people the boost, the development we needed. And they have made you feel like it's impossible. Way back in 1748, Yorubas who were speaking different languages, but very common words, they were able to work together in a kingdom that gave them security. And the Egbados, they were allowed to hold their territories. But because this is trade, money, goods involved, something economic power of the kingdom that the Egbas and the Egbados are in charge of. Back then, Alaafin appointed Ajeles as his own eyes, his own ears. How much they pick up the gari, the keduga, you know what I mean? Which is sensible. He appointed his own representatives to work with the Egbas and the Egbados while they hold their territories in the kingdom. So these were agents appointed by the Alaafin of Oyo to oversee his interests and monitor commerce. The lead representative of Oyo in the corridor was the Olu, ruler of the town of Ilaro. Olu of Ilaro has his own appointment. He is made an Oba historically by the Alaafin Oyo only to monitor the trade and commerce for Alaafin in that axis. My people from Yewa, all my people from Egbado, Yewa North, Yewa South, Imasai, when the Fulani invaders invaded the Yewa and sent our people to Benin Republic in Pobe, I can't remember if you have any video of where Alaafin of Oyo became angry because Olu of Ilaro, the man that should possibly report back to Alaafin, Nigeria happened. Nobody they see anybody. Everybody is an hustler now. But people they hustle here and there. Olu of Ilaro was meant to ensure that the economy of Yorubaland, the empire, is never threatened. Olu of Ilaro is a very well-known man. Oba Kehinde, what's the name of Olu? Oba Kehinde there. Historically, he is there as an Oba to protect. And remember that Yorubaland, the border towns, they have been watching helplessly while the Nigerian custom officers, they will run into their communities and they will kill their children returning from schools. They will kill their youth in the name of pursuing smugglers who pass through the border without authorization. They live in the border. They have seen wars. Go to Seme border. Go to where is this other border? Where they remind me. Olu of Ilaro shouldn't be in his palace sleeping. If this was 1748, Alaafin would have called on him and got rid of him straight up. But Nigeria happened. Oh yeah, Nigeria happened. As we found out now, yeah. Anyway, let's go to the fourth layer. Idi Roko border. God bless you. Thank you very much for that. Let's go to the fourth layer of the kingdom of Oyo Empire. Behold, Ajaland. The Ajaland, which I will probably call Ijebuland anyway, but let's read, was the last layer added to the empire. It was the most restive and distant and kept in line with threat of expeditions against it. This territory extended from the non-Yoruba areas west of Egbado corridor far into away controlled territory in modern Togo. This area, like all tributary states, was allowed a fair degree of autonomy as long as taxes were paid. The orders from Oyo were strictly followed, and access to local market was provided to Oyo merchants. The Oyo often demanded tribute in slaves. The tributary chiefs of other kingdoms sometimes made war on others to capture slaves for this purpose. Oyo was known to punish disobedience by wholesale slaughter of the erring community, as it accomplished in Alada in 1698. This is not Ijebuland, so to say. It was pretty much like the Togo, as far as when you go deeper into Dahomey, in today's Benin Republic, as we say. So eventually Oyo lost those places. When colonialists came, yeah, they were completely partitioned to another country, a French-speaking, they say, and they are Yorubas who, for the century of Oyo Kingdom, Oyo Empire, and their rule, yeah, they speak Yoruba, and they have been Yorubas, and they are still there today as Yorubas. Now, why did I tell you all of this? We have seen wars. Last 2 weeks, we had a team at Igongon. A team in Ngongon were covering a year after the attack of the Fulani terrorists on the people of Ngongon. And they were seeking help. They've been abandoned, government, nobody have their time. We saw the palaces burnt, the people who lost the survivors, so to say. And that kind of always jolt my mind in a way to make me remember that either by the sheer silence of these traditional rulers, which Alaafin of Oyo should consider Igongon as part of the whole Oyo Empire, Igbowo area and the rest. And he kept the Fulani terrorists in those forests because his friend, Buhari, is the president. And he ensured that any Yoruba son or daughter that made any public statement about the insecurity is targeted, possibly arrested or excommunicated in a way like they tried to kill Oloye Sunday Igboho. When they tried to kill Oloye Sunday Igboho, that did not put a strain in the relationship of this Alaafin with Buhari. Rather, Ooni of Ife came back and he said Buhari told him to go and warn Igboho. You see these two prominent obas, prominent obas, they are obas that normally you should never see them in public anyhow. You should never see them in public. Like I said, their life, their existence is mainly for the Yoruba cause. Yoruba first, anything Yoruba. If you see them out, you should know that there's trouble. But they are always crawling to Buhari's bed. And they always come back to come and warn Yorubas who dare try to do anything. They call them troublemakers. And when he died, they put his body in public. And now he died and showed up just pretty much like an ordinary person. He is not Iku Baba Yeye. Apologies to all of you who are from Oyo. I know it may be difficult for some of you to accept this now. And I bet some of you have actually been living this with this rage in yourself for so long. While you watch Oba Adeyemi Lamidi, desecrated that stool. The same way we are seeing now the Ooni of Ife, who is now the Instagram Oba, have been a TikTok Oba in Yorubaland. All this desecration and all modernization in the UK, in Britain. For centuries, you've read about their own royals too. In the UK, people feel like the monarchy should go. But guess what? As much as they've modernized their monarchy in the UK, you can't just say you walk into the Queen's Palace, and then you want to do a TikTok video because you want to show modernization. Traditionally, nobody should even get anywhere closer to Nirisha in the first instance. Not to talk of you seeing Nirisha. You don't see him, you don't see his face, you don't see anything like that. It's money now, isn't it? And that's why we found that Alaafin of Oyo, Iku Baba Yeye, this and that, and every other stuff, Alaafin's body wrapped. Some people are even telling themselves in order for them to feel good, they said, Maiyegun is not, are you sure it's Alaafin? They cannot bring his body out like that. I said, you did deceive yourself, auntie. I understand. I actually understand. I feel your dilemma. You are seeing it is unbelievable. But somehow something tells you that they just did it. It's not him that they can never allow. Should you even put something together and present it as Alaafin, and they are doing Allahu Akbar? Where do they think it's going? It's going to Alijana. It's going to go and see God. In the Yoruba mythological teachings, Alaafin that dies, or a royal father that dies, becomes an Orisha himself. So which one is Allahu Akbar? You go to Alijana Abi? Emma Tonrayin.
So, káàbọ̀ níbi tí bá ti ń darapọ̀ mọ́ ìkànnì usefulness Yorùbá. Wọ́n ti fẹ́ kírun sí bàbá wa Adéyẹmí Àtàndá, Aláàfin ti Ọ̀yọ́ báyìí. Iwájú ààfin bàbá wa Adéyẹmí Àtàndá la wà báyìí níbi tí wọ́n sì ṣe ń tò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹ̀sìn mùsùlùmí. Wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń fẹ́ máa tò sáfù láti fi kírun sí bàbá wa tó wàjà lára. tó fún àǹfààní àwọn tó ń ṣe darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ìkànnì usefulness Yorùbá lẹ́tí ń wo ìran yìí mẹ́ta ti wà ní ààfin ti ìlú Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ ọba Adéyẹmí. Ní báyìí àwọn ẹlẹ́sìn mùsùlùmí wọ́n ti péjọ síta tí wọ́n sì ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti máa pé ìrun láti sin bàbá ní ẹ̀sìn ti mùsùlùmí. Tọ́ ọ ti ń gbé bàbá imam ti ilẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ àwọn náà ti ń bọ̀ báyìí àwọn ni wọ́n máa ṣe síwájú.
Hello, ẹ̀gbọ́n. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ń ṣètò bí wọ́n ṣe tí òun tẹ̀lé ìdájọ́ fún ọ̀bá ìlú wa. Àwọn ìmáàmù náírà pẹ̀lá nílẹ̀ ọ̀nà àbíjáde tó ń ká àwọn lẹ́nu tó ń jáde.
Tọ́ wọ́n ti gbé àwọn mọ́tò báyìí. Tọ́ ọ ti fẹ́ gbé wọn.
It's an emotional one, isn't it? They did it, I didn't too. So don't blame me. Maiyegun, why are you showing? Well, if they didn't upload it, if they didn't do it, I won't say it. What's your problem, Gogo? Somebody was asking me that. Maiyegun, what's your problem, Gogo? Is it because Alaafin found Allah and he's going to say, it's not because of that. It is because that you are deceiving yourselves because it's convenient for you. You know that? You will never go and bury the Oluwo, I mean, Oluwa no, Asakwe, Ogbagbamigo, Oluwo. So when they were doing that, look at those afar. Chief Imam of Oyo. Hello, Akbar. Oluwa don't say, he will do Allah. You know, me do Kabiesi, mo Allah, Kotolo. Allah, Akbar, ni Baba Koko, ni Baba so last. All those bobo. Now, one song came to my mind. I don't remember the lyrics very well, but you help me. Say, Àwọn àfáà wa nílọrin, àwọn àfáà wa nílọrin, tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wa ní kéwú, tí wọ́n ń kọ́ wa ní kéwú. Bàbá Fọlá àwọn ọbẹ̀ Ọlọ́run, bàbá Fọlá ọbẹ̀ Ọlọ́run, wà láyì, tà láyì, iná ọjọ́ ànámọ̀ náà sì máa lọ súnmọ́ bá ìlà. You see these ones, you say, Àwọn àfáà wa ní Ọ̀yọ́, àwọn àfáà wa ní Ọ̀yọ́, tí wọ́n ṣe lé ìtọ́da láṣà. Iná ọjà ànámọ̀ náà sì máa lọ súnmọ́ láìláìlá. Iná ọjà ànámọ̀, na there they go. But you be know, now only poor people they go ọjà ànámọ̀, which is hellfire for the Christians. They call it hellfire. Now this Baba, all this Baba Afa, you see? Àwọn Afa amúnibúni ẹran bíyẹ. Àwọn bàbá oníjẹkújẹ. Ó jẹ́ má jẹ́ ń ṣépè fún ọ. Tí n bá wọlé alú àti ọ. Ìpè kò pòórá ni bàbá ẹgbẹ́nu òṣìṣẹ́ ọ̀hún ta ló ń pòórá. Ẹ̀yin gbé pòórá kárí yín yá ẹ disappear láti bedroom sínú toilet. Káti ẹ̀kan kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ test yẹ short circle. Ìpè kò yá sọmọ́ra rẹ lára. Tí n bá wọlé tí n bá fa àwọn àyà kíní kan bàbá ẹ kó ṣìṣẹ́ ọ̀hún àyà wèrè wo lẹ́ ń fà. Àwọn oníjẹkújẹ bàbá òfò bàbá òṣì àwọn ló ń kó bá religion o, you know. They are actually those who make your religion a mockery. Your faith, a mockery. And that's why I said on Maiyegun's Diary Political, learn how to detach that your faith, because it's yours. You earn it. They will only blackmail you because they are all job men. Now them they shout, iná àpáàdì, ọ̀run àpáàdì, bá lọ lé kéwú, tẹ́ bá kínú wákàtí márùn yín dédé. If you no go ilé kéwú, if you no do wákàtí márùn, if you no do this, if you no do that, Naija no, tẹ́ bá ṣẹbọ, the particular one. Ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ń ṣẹbọ, abọ̀rìṣà, òrìṣà in Yorubaland, they are our gods. I'm a Yoruba man. If I enter anywhere where they do Oshun, if they cook food, I go shop. If I enter anywhere where they do Oro, my brother, if they cook, I go shop. If they do Ogun, where they say they just cut one dog like that, or they baja for Ogun, Baba, if they bring here, I go shop with oil and everything. If I hear praise God in that church, they say, what did they do? They do harvesting, fruit day. They say fruit day, food day, drink up. That one did the back of the altar. You know, go feed drink in front of everybody. This is church. Maiyegun, don't drink here. I said, okay, fine. But we'll start with the fruit as appetizer. Because I just finished yam from where they do Ogun. I'm a Yoruba man, for goodness sake. I'll sit there. I'll watch them do things because I have been there. It's more real for me. And then you turn around, you say the person, the custodian of that, you cannot tell him that he's going to Noja no more. They are there. They are going to tell anybody. Alaafin pàdé, Alaafin ọba wa súnmọ́ Ọlọ́run ju bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rò lọ. Kábíyèsí mọ Ọlọ́run. What they took parody wípé Kábíyèsí mọ Kùránì láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ dé end. And Allahu Akbar. Ẹ ń tanra yín ẹ̀yin olódo rabata. Then if you ask them, my friend, we understand, don't need to say that. Let's, all these people, just leave them to God. Don't leave them for God. There's a bunch of jokers who have a bunch of ignorant, miseducated, misinformed people, gullible ones to lead on. That's why people like us, they call us rebel. They say wherever we say, if you walk, because we know if you lie, tell you, say, Baba, you go see one sign in the midnight. If you hear bang, about a sign from heaven, make you meet 7 a.m. tomorrow. You know what I mean? If you do that one, you go lie to them, do this and that. They won't believe you. You see these ones, they've known it for ages. You won't tell them, say, waiting there, no, for ages. No, true. They use them to manipulate us so badly. And when they finally gain control, they plundered everything. It's a missed opportunity, so to say. A missed one. Alaafin is not a Muslim, he's not a Christian, he's a traditionalist. But you see your Afa, your chief imam. Alaafin is an angel. With the right color of money. If the color of that money is very nice, it's nice. You know, the color go show. If you they go, no more, or you are going to go and sit with God in heaven, where 7 angels, I mean, seven bunch of pedophilic animals, where 7 virgin they wait for you. You do for this art, or maybe you no get chance do for this art in your imagination, 7 virgin they wait for you. What do you want to virgin do? What you concern virgin and Islam? What you concern a virgin woman and your faith with God? No be meant to be that. So all those guys, they know those who will go to heaven depends on who shows them the color of their currency. That's why you saw them, all of them, they move down. They want to bury Alaafin when they know historically, there is a custodian of the Yoruba deities. Who is deceiving who? You are asking me, Maiyegun, what's your problem, Gongo? Is it because Alaafin meet Allah? You dey crazy. You dey just paro funra yin niyan, you ni jekuje, and you li. Ebi ro gbogbo yin ton pa funra yin na niyan. Mura yin bobo, mura yin mole bi gba to je pe you know, some people just feel like they should just keep quiet. They say leave them. If you tell them anything else, they will not believe. I say no, me I will tell them. They don't have to believe. That's why to check around Alaafin no. Iku baba ye. They desecrated the stool. And you need to know that. Don't tell your children that they are not who they are. Don't say that to your children. I'll tell my children. See, I know the names of those who sold Yorubaland. And they sold them collecting stipend every month. And wherever they have to stop and stand for Yorubaland, no, they want their faces everywhere. They want to be on newspaper. They want to be on TV. They want to be making blunt, nonsensical statements that are pretty much bollocks. As long as their nest is being fed out, as long as they are feeding them, as long as they get their own share. I won't tell my children, one Alaafin of Oyo is Alamidi Adeyemi. He was a great king. Face me, look at me very well. I will not tell my children that there was a king called Alaafin Adeyemi. He was a good man. He was a great man. Don't tell your children that. It wasn't. Same thing with this current Oni. Watch out for them. And don't pretend. Don't let all those fraudulent culture they always use to hoodwink you, blackmail you. These guys have no respect for that culture. They don't. They which culture? The only time because when they say they are celebrating culture, it's because they will be the center of attraction. And guess what? That they collect gifts. Money, car, everything. I want to do festival. So yeah, go there. That festival, if you look for Pekin, go there. And once they pray for you like this, you go get Pekin. Some people don't they go the thing for the past 30 years until they enter menopause. They still don't get that Pekin because it's not what it is anymore. These rogues have adulterated everything. Destroy them. And the only thing left is the fear. One more you. Shut up your mouth too. Don't say that in public. Maiyegun. Maiyegun majeko. Olom joba ma show Maiyegun yon olom ayeko pa Maiyegun. Kò sẹ́ni tó máa pẹ̀yàn kọ̀kọ̀ Osla ni wọ́n. Osla ni wọ́n. Gbogbo yín tẹ́ máa kówó yín jọ tẹ́ máa ti you've made your money. You say they say if Ooni of Ife, if Ooni of Ife pray for you last song, Baba, go and see all those it happen. No, they don't turn Ooni of Ife stool to a scamming stool. Some of you don't know that too, but you will grow to know them. That is why Ooni of Ife will go to Abuja in the face of all the calamities going on. He will go to Abuja and Koba and say, Buhari said I should go and warn Igboho to stop all the nonsense he's doing. Like, seriously? You're not paying attention? Ha ha ha. Because you are paying attention, it's so hard for you to take it in. Like, this is real. Oh my God, this is real. Oh my God, it's true. No, it can't be true. God, is Maiyegun? Hey, man, Maiyegun is making sense. No, it's not making any sense. No, I don't believe it. Our own tradition, the same way we say, are you saying that they have destroyed them enough that they are just using the fear left to make you believe that whatever they do, be careful, be careful before you talk about them, or else calamity will come. They can do this to you. They can do that to you. They turn everything to scam, fraud, defrauding people, doing things, horrible things that if you know what they have now associated with our stools, you go fear. You go join the campaign that we should get rid of them. pure waste of resources and pure waste of existence, most of them. So pay attention. You should. Nobody should blackmail you or threaten you simply because you've come across an information that you actually want to know more. Or because what Maiyegun is saying right now is opening some old wounds, bringing back some old memories, things you've come across in the course of your life, things you've read, and you've personally told yourself that, no, I don't want to believe that. It's so difficult, but it's not. It's you who is choosing what to see. You can see, but you choose what to believe. Look at them and look at the society they live or they lead. Everything else you are making up that is different from what you can see and touch, trust me, they are just your own reality to escape the reality. Oh, no, I don't want to. I was in London for 2 days, and I met some my Biafran brothers and some other people in London, right? But before I get to that, let me show you this clip, because or else I'm going to forget, and I'm about to round up until evening when I see you again, right? In fact, let me show you this video because it's related to what I'm talking about now. It's a report that we paid for on Maiyegun's Diary political platform. Yeah, we did pay for this, a lot of money. Then we spoke to the victims of the Gongon attack. A year after, with all those paparazzi, the video, Sheyi Makinde, the police DPO, the police IG, this and that went there. All those paparazzi, a year after, the people have been abandoned. I hope you'll be able to understand this. Sit back. You paid for this. We paid for this on Maiyegun's Diary Political, just like many other things we've paid for, to bring the attention of the world, Yorubas especially, to exact things going on, facts for facts, picture for picture, see the victims, listen to them. They are going to speak to you. Listen to this.
A kí ẹ̀yin olùgbọ́ wa nílé lóko àti lẹ́yìn odi. Bí a ṣe ń bá yín sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, ìlú Ìgàngán la wà, ìlú tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi ti ṣẹlẹ̀ láti bí ọdún kan sẹ́yìn láàrin àwọn èèyàn wa, àwọn Yorùbá àti àwọn Fulani darandaran. Ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ó ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ òfò fún dúkìá àti ẹ̀mí. Lẹ́yìn bí ọdún kan sẹ́yìn tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ti ṣẹlẹ̀, àwọn oníròyìn wa African Eye wọ́n gbéra láti lọ sí ìlú Ìgàngán láti bá àwọn ẹbí tó fara káásá nínú ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi yìí àti àwọn tó sọ dúkìá nù. Àti pé nígbà tọ́rọ̀ náà ṣẹlẹ̀, ìjọba ṣe ìlérí láti ṣe àwọn nǹkan kan ní àtúnṣe àti àtúntò níbẹ̀. Nípa ìdí èyí la fi gbéra láti mú ìròyìn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ láti bí ọdún kan sẹ́yìn wá sí etí ẹ̀yin olùgbọ́ wa nípa ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ láabi tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìlú Ìgàngán. Ẹ máa bá wa ká lọ.
Nǹkan tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ìlú yìí, àwa náà ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí tó dáwà ní alákòóso ìlú yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọba ìlú yìí. So gbogbo nǹkan tó sì bàjẹ́ láti bí ọdún kan sẹ́yìn, kò sí nǹkan kan tí a ti ìrọ̀wọ́ ìjọba pínpín níbi tí ìjọba local ni o, ti state ni o, federal ni o, àti ìrí ọwọ́ ìjọba kankan. Ibi tá a wà yìí ààfin wa ni, ibi ojú nẹ́kanlẹ̀ ní wọ́n kọ́ dé sí ìjọ tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ aláàánú wa kan olólùfẹ́ wa tó jẹ́ ọmọ bíbí wa ní Barapa yìí tóun náà jẹ́ nínú olóṣèlú òun ló ṣe kínní yìí ló tún lé ìkọ́ bó ti wáyé ibi tágbára rẹ̀ mọ́ dé ló ṣe dé mọ́ fún wa níwájú ààfin ọkọ̀ bíi mẹ́rin lójú náà.
so inú ààfin níbi tá a wà.
ààfin níbi tá a wà yìí.
lẹ́yìn tí wọ́n sun ibi ní
ó rí bó ṣe rí yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí ni wọ́n wá bí wọ́n rẹ́ àwọn ọkọ̀ kan wá wọ́n ní látọ̀dọ̀ gómìnà làwọn ti. báyà ọ̀sẹ̀ mẹ́ta ṣá tí wọ́n wá síbí yìí wọ́n ní gómìnà lọ́nà àwọn wá láti Ọ̀yọ́ state pé káwọn wá ṣàbẹ̀wò sí ibí yìí ṣé yẹn tó ń bẹnu àyẹ̀wò látijọ́ ìhun tí gómìnà náà ti wá tí wọ́n sọ̀kalẹ̀ tí wọ́n fojú rí gbogbo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ tá a ti wá rí ìyípadà rẹ̀. lọ́wọ́ tá a fẹ́ afẹ́kún wọn rìn wá lọ́wọ́ lórí ìrìn àjò wọn yìí ni gbogbo ibi tí agbára wọn bá ká irú àwọn tọkàn wọn bàjẹ́ ẹni tó bá lè rìn wá lọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n lè rìn wọ́n bá ọkọ̀ náà lè rà ní àwọn lágbára báyìí o ẹ̀yìn iye ẹni tó bá ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù nǹkan báyìí làwọn lè fi rìn ẹ lọ́wọ́ o látọ̀dọ̀ àwọn èèyàn Yorùbá àwọn tẹ̀mí wọn ṣòfò náà wọ́n rìn àwọn ọmọ wọn lọ́wọ́.
Is a tip. So later this afternoon, I'm going to upload the full report. So you're going to see the whole area. So when it's uploaded on Maiyegun's Diary YouTube, that's where you're going to see it. You can go take a glimpse. Then I'm going to eventually cut them into pieces, use them as part of my presentation at some point, explaining in parts what this report brought to us. Okay, so it's just to let you know that all these events are real. There are victims too. The man who spoke earlier, that's the new king in Egongon, because the king that met Oloye Sunday Igboho back then, I've been told, I think he's late now. So I think that's a new one there. However, I will analyze, analyze this clip further when we upload the full report. I think it's somewhere around 35 minutes long. There are other victims also who spoke. And they've been abandoned as just like everybody, you are going to be on your own anyway. That's Nigeria. When it happens to you, you may look around and be like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you to you for spending your, spending your afternoon with me. And at the same time, to my friends in America, spending your morning, early morning with me. So tonight, I'm going to be on, inshallah, or by the grace of God, as usual. So which means I'm going to be here tonight later, right? And I'm going to be having guests. It's this team of men, who are organizing. Well, it's already in the process anyway. Like it's almost here. I think it's going to be on Saturday, right? So the 30th of April in London. So they're having this, kind of a get-together conversational meeting concerning what's going on in Nigeria, the political part of it, and then the agitation part of it, revolutionary part of it, and many others, right? And they want to kind of, have a table, like, I don't know how to describe that, like a panel, like a conversation, right? They've got a guest speakers. All of this is just part of, let's have a chat. Let's have a conversation about what is going on, which I am pretty much in support of. Okay, so they're going to spend about 30 minutes with me tonight. Hopefully, we're able to get that done tonight because they need to let you know what they want to do or they are doing. And so that every one of you in London or in the UK who is pretty much interested in making an impact, not just talking, just doing. You will be able to connect with them. So they'll come on today. And I'm expecting, I think, let me remember the name. I've got Pato. I've got Gabi. I called him Gabi. These great guys met with me in London yesterday. They are going to be with me tonight, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan. And then I've got so much more I want to share with you, but my time is kind of up. I didn't plan to even last this long. But again, I have delivered my own message. I have historically linked all these pieces together for you. You have no excuse. To give excuse for those who have no, who have no business with Yorubaland, other than the fact that they are opportuned to be in strategic positions that are no longer strategic anymore. Because, like I said, these guys are hustlers, and if you are in the right clique, you can be a king too. Shebi they don't tell you say MC Olueron will be king. That's how it works these days. It is no longer tradition. and nobody should blackmail you with tradition, this, tradition, that, or threaten you with it. And you should never be threatened with that. You see, some of us who grew up in the 80s and early 90s, we understood perfectly well the consequences of confronting or challenging those that are custodian of our cultures and our tradition or heritage and this and that. But we figured out that what we are actually afraid of is the fear that they implanted on us. And it was deliberate. It's for us never to question or to probe. Because when you begin to probe, you're probing this whole thing starts from them. Because you realize that they are going against the norms and the culture, the tradition, the heritage that they sworn to protect. So if you question much, then you're going to know that it's all fake. These guys don't represent anybody. They represent just themselves. They just use our tradition, our culture, and our heritage and everything that makes us respect who we are. They just use them to intimidate us from talking. Now, I want you to start talking. You know all those things, those rogue ones that parade themselves with Irukere and Agbada and this and that. Don't fear them. Don't fear them. They can't do anything to you. Trust me. The first thing is that, cross Maiyegun. Tell them. When you see them, you say, Baba, respect, right? Cross the boy. Because he don't believe in all those nonsense you're probably going to throw at him. And he will probably never stop too. Sure you get. In the long run, when they use that brush to paint them, they use it to paint the rest of us as Yorubas. Cowards, opportunists who have taken advantage of us. Now, you should not be afraid. Speaking out or speaking your mind in this regard, right? Educating others. And you should tell them there's absolutely nothing to fear. Nothing. You should be feared because you have known the truth. Yes, you've known the truth now. And you can never know the truth and remain the same. You won't feel comfortable. I've never felt comfortable since day one. I knew that Nigeria was a lie. And there's a lot I can go into it in getting us what we want. Trust me. One of them is actually education. The one I'm doing. The one you should be doing. When you get educated and enlightened, trust me, you feel liberated, don't you? Now, at the same time, you feel kind of weighed down with the responsibility of the ignorance around you. And you get to say, I want to educate people. Do it and fear not. From speaking out. And I want you to start now. Speak it out. Say it. When you see those rogue Oba, call their names. You know this Oba Lagoon. All of you know Oba Lagoon here. Oba Lagoon cannot threaten you with any tradition anymore. Can Oba Lagoon threaten you? Oba Lagoon le threaten you. Hey, you are talking to me. At first, those Lagosians wanted to be defensive. Maiyegun, be careful. Don't talk about our Oba like that. I say, it's not me. Now Oba Lagoon, a former police officer, pickpocket. He's a former criminal from a criminal system. Trust me, that's how it is. But when they turn to royal, you want them to turn to good. Then when they don't turn good, you want to hide behind tradition, culture, and respect. Come on, spare me that. Don't get covered and don't get covered by that, okay? Speak your truth. Say it, and because every day they are just like a giver that keeps giving. You cannot excuse their misbehavior. You cannot excuse their own corrupt way of life that is now corrupting the tradition that they are scaring you or intimidating you with. That's why you must, deconstruct your mind, like I said. Do it. It's so easy. Don't create alternative reality. I have told you this. If you have any research to do, research around what I have told you. They are facts that you can touch. You know them. You've probably never seen somebody put them together like this before. I have just done that. So don't create another alternative reality because this one is too raw to believe. Wait for me till this evening. If you have the time, join me if you can. If you don't have the time, sure. Thanks for spending this particular one with me. And the next time you see me, there's going to be another bombshell out there. Read it with an open mind. Listen to it very carefully. Right hidden in it or right there in it is where your own mind that is imprisoned by these guys, it's where that liberation lies. I don't know how it works for everybody. It did work for me. Try it. Now see you some other time. Like the broadcast if you can, but if you're angry, don't dislike it. It won't show. But you can comment if you want. I'm going to see you again. Just like I always said, you will see me again and again and again. Until then, Princess, any closing prayer?
ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Bíjó ìgbádùn yẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Ha! Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán wò á kàmù. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.